Hello, whoever joined. Thank you so much for joining. So it's 9 o'clock. So let's start painting. First, we're gonna prepare our, fireplace. So we're gonna draw it out first, and then we'll apply the color. I'm just gonna turn the camera around. Oops, there we go. So I've painted 2 samples, and one sample is with a brownish background, and in the tone of the fireplace there are also some brown colors, and the other one, it's folded, it's with a darker background. We're using more like bluish and black colors, and the same goes for the fireplace. So let's start. First we will draw out the fireplace as it's the centerpiece. So just place it somewhere in the middle, and the size of it can be whatever you like. And to be honest, even the fireplace itself can be anything you like, however you like it to look like. Just remember, we need a little bit of space for the wall, where we will be drawing out the walls. Right, so just keep that in mind. And do it lightly with a pencil. You don't have to press hard, and we will be erasing some of the lines after, and other lines can stay. This will be for the top of our fireplace, and again, if you want to make it, go creative, you can create it as I have it on either this one or that one. They're both the same, or you can make it a couple of steps up, however you like. This is your fireplace, your cozy space. So be creative. You don't have to stick exactly to what I'm doing. Maybe something like that. I'm going closer to what I've done before, just to simplify, and you can go ahead and do the same if you like. Sometimes I know we can paint without creating outlines, but in our case, I think it's easier. It would be easier if we create something first, and then it's easier just to go by lines and coloring it in. And take your time. The main thing here is to enjoy and have fun. So I'm here creating just very lightly for myself a little guidelines for the inside of the fireplace. Now, when you're sketching in this fireplace, always remember where your center will be. So our center is fire, which will be inside, and then all the lines basically for the prospect, kind of like how we're seeing the object of the fireplace will be going out, right? So let's say here we'll have a little step. You gotta keep the shape of the lines, right, going away. And now when we will be creating the lights for the lines, sorry, for the back, for the wall, we'll be keeping it a little bit further away, right? Not exactly where the fireplace ends, right here in the corner. So just keep that in mind, just kind of to keep with proportion and the depth. And we can even have the same little parts inside here. Again, we're just lightly sketching these parts in. And it's okay if some parts are not exactly the same size from one side as it is from the other side. We're just having fun here. And then we will have our Christmas tree. And again, you can place these objects anywhere you want. This time, for example, let's put the Christmas tree on this side. Kind of draw it in a little bit. And we can make a star being first next to the tree. I'm not very good with drawing stars, to be honest. It seems like a simple object, but I'm always having a tough time drawing this on a paper. Who knew, right? Okay, so that's kind of how the star is going to look like. Obviously, there's something going on there. There. And then we can have our candles. Something like that. Maybe they're running a little. Another one. Same. And then don't worry for now about the, shading or shapes. Just plain. Once we get to work with the color and the brushes, then we can adjust everything however we like. And we can even leave it at that, or you can still go ahead and place this little shape there. And then we have little Christmas stockings. Again, as many as you wish to place them in here. It's up to you. You can have one, you can have two or three hanging in one direction, all of them, or one and looking to the left, one looking to the right. It's up to you. This is your cozy place. So here I'll make one looking in one direction and one smaller one looking in another. Let's make another little one. Just right there. Like a baby. There we go. Small, little cute. So now we have the little basket with pieces of logs inside. and a little stand for the fireplace. So the same thing, we'll just free some space there. Let's put our basket in. Again, it can look however you like. And to be honest, if you don't want to place the basket in there with the wooden logs, you don't have to. It's up to you. And let's put some on the floor. Could be even just one. I've done 2 on both of these, but it's up to you. And this time I think I'll place these stands on that side, just to have a different card. And we'll make it as a little shovel at the bottom. And one with a little handle. We'll color it in, as you can see from the other example. Just like that. Is everyone following up so far? Send me a message, let me know how you're doing. So I know if I'm going too fast or too slow, maybe. Okay, so now let's do the colors. So we will need I use 2 buckets of water, just so I can wash one time the paint off in one jug, and then in another jar, again, kind of rinse it off. And we will need for the start, we'll need 2 brushes, thin and bigger one. So this number 1 and number 6. And these are my paints. So we will be using a few colors here, and we'll be mixing some as well. So let's see. We'll make the fireplace first. And I wanted to show you something in the beginning. Let me just move this for now. I want to show you how to fix your fireplace first, in case if your paint runs, because we need to create this white space in the middle. And sometimes when we do that, and it will need a little bit of like water inside, the paint can actually run into your white space. So I want to show you a way how to clean it quickly before it actually absorbs into the paper and dries. So the method that we will use is painting on wet. So we'll make a space wet first. Let's put our paints out. So I will be using whatever red you have is fine. I will be using this vermilion hue. So squeeze a little. We'll add some water. Then we'll also use yellow. And I will be using this deep yellow. Same squeeze. Adding some water. And then we will be mixing the 2 also to make our orange. And then we will also need a brown color, as you can tell, just to make that darker shading there. So for that, I actually do have burnt sienna. So we can use that We won't need a lot of this unless you're making your brown background, but I'm pretty sure that a little bit will work. So let's start. I will just show you on a piece of paper, and if you have a piece of paper available, try along with me and see how it works for you. I'm just trying to mix up the color a little first. Clean your brush. Okay, so what I want to do at first for you is to, on your sample piece of paper, just kind of, if you want to make a little circle where your fire will be, and you can mark, this is just for now. When we make the fire on actual card, we will not need this, because you will already have a feel on how to paint this. So we will grab our very big brush, make it wet, and we will apply water on all of this area here. Make that area wet. Okay, put the brush away, and then we will apply, we'll start with our yellow, because we have white, then we'll have yellow. And so you can just make it kind of look like fire, you know, kind of like that. And then wash your brush, apply some red, and we'll put it here, kind of like fire. And I know it doesn't look like fire right now, but you will see, we'll fix it. And then we'll use a little bit of brown. Let's pretend this is a fireplace. Okay. Then we'll have our mix of yellow and red to make that kind of orange color. If you already have orange, then great. And you just kind of throw it in there. And then let's say your paint ran in too much. We will clean our brush very well and push with the brush from the center out. You see how it actually cleans it? And then again, wash your brush, dry a little, and push. See that? It will clean your paint from inside. It might not clean all of it well, but it will push the paint out from your center where you want the white to be. And then we'll just adjust our colors, and then you will have your fireplace. See? We can also wait a little. Right now it's very runny. We would have to wait a little, and then we can apply our yellow a little more, because we do need it a little bit more in. So anyways, I wanted to show you this technique of cleaning the paint in case when you're creating your card and the paint runs in. And see, you can even do that. The paint will follow your brush. See that? Like that. And then once we create the background, it will look more and more like a fireplace. And then we'll use some darker colors for the corners, just like you see it here. And then we'll have our fireplace. So if you're ready to start, let's apply the same method on our fireplace. gonna remove some lines. Okay. So remember, first we use our big brush to put some color, water in. Just like that. Okay. Now we'll apply our paint. Hello, hello. Thanks for joining. If you're just watching and not painting, it's fine. Get comfortable. We'll have lots of fun. And you can always ask me questions at any time. We're just working on fire. Oops, sorry. I moved the camera by mistake. There we go. Sorry, I'll have to turn this paper a little bit. Again, the fire can be as big as you like. It's your creation, and just go easy on yourself. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's not a contest. We're just having fun. Even if it turns out ugly on your opinion, that's okay. We're just having fun here. So you see I'm applying some of the yellow colors on the sides as well, because it's a fireplace, right? So you'll see yellow reflecting in places and going everywhere. And I think I want a little bit darker red. So I'll mix my red with my brown a little. See how it turns that red into a very dark color? Here, look. See how dark it becomes? So we can apply that into our fire. Just a little. And then just my brush went weird. Okay, and I think we're ready for a little bit of black in here, because you can see on my card we do need a little bit of black right here, right, to give depth, as the light is not falling exactly everywhere. So we'll take ivory black, or I don't know if you can see the name of it. No, there we go. So don't squeeze a lot if you're using paste like me. If you're using pencils, watercolor pencils, then it's also easier. You can actually go in and draw in your black and then add a little bit of water. I will use actually a smaller brush for this. And I will start with a thicker black. And then I will add water when I feel okay, it's comfortable. And be very sporadic because it's just a fireplace. Doesn't have to be very, sharp and precise. And we'll mix in some brown, and you see how it will start mixing. Just need to wash off my brush. See how it mixes in? And I do switch between brushes often, depending on the effect I'm trying to create. A little bit dark brown. And we'll put a little bit of brown inside as the logs are burning inside. They get dark. And you will see that a little bit of brown, a little bit of black even inside. So just dab your brush in, and if you need to add a little bit of black, you can pull it from your black. See how I pull from here and then dab it there, and there it is. So you can do the same. Here we have depth, and now we'll just fix a little bit in here. I feel like I need to add a little bit more of yellow. Maybe a little bit more orange. There we go. I want a little bit darker brown here, a little bit. I feel like this fireplace has too much red in it. What do you think? How's your fireplace looking like? Are you happy with it? Is it turning out okay? There we go. There, we have our fireplace inside. Now let's work around it, and let's probably take care of the actual fireplace. Let's work around. We'll use at first a bigger brush. And the colors we will use, again, as I've mentioned before, it can be with brownish tone or it could be with bluish tone. It's up to you. We will need some black at first, and then we'll use a little bit of gray color as well. So I'll turn on my palette, and I have already black set up in there. I will make just some gray color as well. Some black. And this will be my gray. Just one dip of brush is enough. And let's just give it a little bit of white. There we go. I will also use for this one some brown, and I did make already brown color, a little bit darker brown color, and that's the one we will use. Okay, so let's start with the black. We'll use smaller brush and very lightly apply. And not everywhere, okay? So look at the sample here. We'll use very lightly just on tops here and on the sides. Just a little bit. It doesn't have to be a straight line because we'll apply more color and that will all get fixed. So now with just a little bit of gray, and then I wash my brush, and then just with the water, I'm pulling the paint. Like that. You don't need a lot of paint for this, very lightly. And then we can do some brown, just in some places, like that. Now let's secure the inside. Make sure your brush is very clean. And we can apply a little bit of brown. With a big brush, I like to soften the edges so it doesn't look very sharp and cut. A little bit of gray on the edge because we will make the edges darker. So you can apply a little bit of gray, not pure black. That will be too sharp, I think. Just like that. And lightly on sides, very lightly. We don't need a lot of color here, just closer to where this border is going, just a little bit of there. And then I'll go for the edges again, these frame edges. Again, I will use brush number 1 for that. And I will use brown, my dark brown color that I've created from red and yellow. Oh, sorry, a red and brown. And go lightly, because if you applied a lot of water with your big brush by mistake, it will all start running. See how it runs there? It's just lightly. And if it runs, it's okay. You can smooth it out with another brush, but it must be clean, make sure. But I would leave it. I like when it runs a little bit like that. Here we have a sock, so we won't be coloring in there. Now, you can add an extra line of brown on sides. And a little bit patches of this darker brown, definitely underneath. And again, with big brush, smooth it out. Here we go. And we'll add a little bit of gray in here to create a shadow. And maybe somewhere up. Just like that. Very light. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect. And then do the same on the other side. I put in a little bit of orange this time. This is our fireplace, so reflects a little bit of light, different colors mix. Having fun, like I said. Okay. There we go. Now we need to finish the bottom. I'll use a bigger brush. And first I'll apply just the wet brush all across. And then I'll put a little bit of brown and see how it will run. That's what we're trying to do here. And while it's running, you can also add a little bit of gray at the bottom here. Just like that. I'm just wetting the floor, or where the floor will be. That's a little bit too much color, so when it's too much, just clean the brush and then pick up everything and see how it goes. Now we can create a little bit of more brown on sides, and we will retouch this later as well. So let's continue with our fireplace for now. So we have little boots to color, and then we'll go to the top. I'm just erasing some of the lines. So let's start with the red. The red for the boots is a little bit different. It's not the bright red. So I will use a little bit different red. A little bit darker. It's called Carmine. I know my camera is not the best. It doesn't show the name. But I will show you on a piece of paper how it looks like. See this red? It's almost like pink. It's a little bit different. So I'll use this color. You can make your boots any color you like. They can be pink, they can be green, blue, however you like. And afterwards, we can even add a little bit of glitter onto the boots. So don't worry about making them perfect. We will need a little bit of darker red to make darker spots on the boots to give them depth. And I will show you how to do that in a second. So you can mix a little bit of this gray, just literally a tiny, tiny little bit, We need a lot. And mix it with this red. It will create this. Oops, didn't get enough. See? Almost like purple. So I will use that color to give our boots a 3D effect. And I will do that by applying at the bottom of the boot a little bit of gray and right under the white part. And again, with a clean brush, just soften it a little. Okay, and do the same to all of the boots. If you have them, of course, in your painting. And if you think you went over too much, it's okay. You can wait till it dries and then add your red color back. Also remember, it's in your hand. You can remove some color by cleaning your brush and just pushing from the area where you think you put a lot of paint. But again, that's if you notice the mistake right away. If you notice the mistake later when the paint already dried on, it will be a little bit harder, but it's still possible, but it won't move the paint as well, and it might actually leave paper a little bit shaped weirdly. So now for the top right here, it's white, but we are not going to just leave it white like that. So I will use my gray, but lighten it even more. So use a little bit more of white color. I'll show you. Make it very light gray. So, like that. This was our dark gray. See, and that's our light. So we need something close to that. And we will use it very lightly as well. So don't pull too much onto your brush. Just very little bit on the tip of the brush. I'm just drying some of extra water. And just like that. I almost dropped the dark gray. And then wash your brush and just blend in a little. So it doesn't look too sharp. And then we'll be putting some glitter inside, if that is your choice, of course. And if you messed up a little and your paints ran, just grab your white, either a white watercolor or white gouache paint, and just add a little bit into the center. Also remember to make sure it's watery enough so it doesn't look like a big blob. And here we go. I've put a little bit of pink in it. It's running a little. That's okay. Things happen like that when we paint, and that's okay. Okay, I'm just gonna, put a little bit more shadow in here. I think it needs a little bit more. And my brush is doesn't want to cooperate. There we go. And here where the sock is, I'll put a little bit more color. Just like that. Now let's go into candles. For candles, I like to use very, very light yellow or orange. So I will take my yellow and in a separate little cup, I'll mix it with some white. How are you guys doing? Am I going too fast or too slow? Let me know. And make a color however you like for the candles. Honestly, it can be orangey. See, I think I will use this color. Oops, as always. Like that. I think it's pretty cool. It's a very, very light orange. Now we'll start by applying water first into your shape, okay? So I know I scrubbed my star, so I will just pull some of the pencil off and then put water in. Don't put a lot, otherwise it will run. Just enough to make it wet. I don't know if you can tell. Just a little bit. So then when you put the color in, on the edges only, it will see how it just runs in gently. And that's what you want. And it's okay if you still see pencil lines because we will be creating a wall color around each, object, and everything will blend in perfectly. We'll do the same for the candles. And look at my hands covered in white paint. There you go. One more left. And be creative. Maybe you do want a little bit, more color in the center because your candle was running, on tops here. That's fine. My star definitely looks weird. There we go. How are we doing with candles? Let's see. This is what we have so far. So let's keep going. Now the tree. Let's secure the tree. Do not put the black for the candle tops for now, because we need to do the wall first. And then at the end, we will do these touches, including these stands on the side. We'll do them at the end. So let's do the Christmas tree. For the Christmas tree, we will need to do 2 mixes. We will use 1 green, but we will make 2 mixes. So we will use our regular green, like darker one. It's called Viridian Hue, at least on my tube, that's what it's called. You might have a different name for it, depending on the paint. But it is a darker green. Like I have a bright green. See, we're not gonna use that. We'll just use this. So the 2 mixes that we will be doing is we'll be breaking our green into 2, okay? One will make it lighter and one will make it darker green. So we'll basically have 3 greens. 1 green we will mix with blue, and the other green will mix with yellow. Clean our brush and let's mix. Let's have fun. Can you see? Okay, so grab yellow and mix, mix, mix. See how brighter it becomes? It's much lighter green now. And that's what we want. Clean it. And for the blue, the other green, this one, we will use the very dark blue, Prussian blue, it's called. So again, for comparison, I have very bright blue, and then I have this very dark one. So I'll use very little bit of this. Like I can even put a dab of it right there. And better start with a very small amount because you don't want to put a lot. Hello, guys. Thanks for joining. And haha, I did put a little bit too much of the blue. But you see how darker it got? So actually, I think I'll just keep it like that. So I'll show you here on a piece of paper the different greens we've created now. So we have this green, and then we have the original green. See how different it is? Like that. And then we have a very nice light green, like that. So we will start our Christmas tree with this light green. Now, I'm not adding any water to start. I will just work with my wet brush and my light color. If you're afraid, you can go with very, very little paint on your brush and basically just random strokes like that. One side, another side, just like that. Little even like dab, dab, dab with your brush. Like this. See, you can go dab, dab. Just like that. And it kind of looks like Christmas tree, but not quite yet. It's because we will be adding other colors into it, and that's when it will turn into a good looking Christmas tree. So at this point, I'll add the actual green. And again, very lightly, and this time we're not going to cover the whole area. We'll just mostly concentrate at the bottom parts. Where the branches are. See that? And more at the very bottom. Just like that. So let's do the same to our Christmas tree. You can switch to a smaller brush if you like, if you're afraid to go with the bigger one. Just like that. I do like a bigger brush though. Sorry, I'll turn it a little bit to my side so I can see better. And then darker blue. Don't forget about the center, the middle. When it dries a little more, we will add a little bit more darker, just in some areas, not everywhere. Okay, we'll leave it for now. Let's do the basket at the bottom. I'll add water first. And I'll add a little bit of orange color just on the side where the fireplace is, as if it's reflecting some of that light. Okay, just a little bit. And then I will add black, or you can do dark brown. Dark brown will look also very nice, and then we will highlight it with black. So if you're scared, start with dark brown. I'm just mixing a little bit more dark brown for myself here. And see how it runs? I like that effect. Just a little bit like that. I think I'll take a little bit of orange too in here. Just a little bit. The edges are. And now I will add the black. Very little bit, just on the tip of your brush. Don't take a lot. Oops, sorry. There we go. And let's go. Just very gentle because it will run. So just a little bit put and wait. And we will come back to it after and just make sharper edges where we feel like they should be sharper. So for now, I will just add my floor. Let that corner dry. And I feel like a little bit of blue in there since I squeezed my blue. And I will use gray and black here as well because this corner is dark. Can you imagine when the fire is burning and all the light hits out of the fireplace, so the wall behind becomes very dark, right? So we want to make sure we do keep some of this area very dark. Even this floor will be dark, but we'll get to it a little bit later. And so we'll do the same thing now on the other side. Your basket should be dry by now. If it's not, if you look at it and you see it's wet, just let it dry a little bit more. And for now, if you know, in my case, it's a little bit still wet, so I'll give it a couple more minutes. I'll just take care of my Christmas tree. I'll go back to my tree. I will also add a tiny bit of black right here at the bottom, just like that. See how it makes your tree right away? Nice. You know what is the scariest part in all the cards that I've done is actually the wall. The wall is the scariest part for me because I'm afraid always to put some paint onto my other objects. However, this is the fun of the watercolor, that if it goes and runs a little bit on them, it's okay. It creates that kind of a little bit messy look, kind of like what I did here. They look fine, right? But you don't even notice that I actually ran onto some of these candles. Magic. So let's try now finishing our wall here. And it's okay if it still doesn't look okay, because once we finish the wall, we'll be starting to put our last shadows around and darkening parts, and then we can sharpen whatever edges we like in the corners. So again, we'll use some gray and then some blue. Any questions so far? Thank you. I'm glad you like it. I know it doesn't look much right now, but it will look nicer at the end. Sometimes I can paint and I look at the work I'm doing and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, it doesn't look good at all. Like I'm messing up big time. But then at the end, when everything is dry and I've put on my last touches and corrections, I'm like, oh, okay, didn't turn up so bad at all. That's how this one was. I thought I'm gonna mess it up. But that's the fun of painting. That's why I like it so much. You can just never predict how it will turn out, and sometimes you surprise yourself with how good you are. Okay, so let's finish maybe the logs. Do the logs on the floor. There's one log on the floor, and there are 3 of them in my basket. I don't know how many you've done in yours. I know my camera is not too good, or I don't know maybe how to hold the board properly. Or maybe because it's just pencil so you don't see them well. But let's work on these little guys right there. Okay, we will need very little paint for that. Very little. Basically, we are creating like highlights, okay? So prepare your brush, not too wet and definitely not dry. And you can start with your very light gray that we've created before for our stockings. So let's just use that gray and just put outside the line. And you can just blend it in slightly. Okay, I'm not comfortable. I'll turn it around and then I'll show you. You can make a little bit of outline and then lightly add brown in it, just very lightly. Put a drop and then with the water and brush, blend the color. Just like that. There will be darker on the side where it hits the ground or where it lays on the side. Just like that. And you can, if you like, add a little bit of yellow into it. But again, we're talking about very small amounts of paint, very small. Just slightly, like that. Can you tell? Very slightly. And then we'll do the same thing with the logs inside. And remember, where they are hitting the basket right there, there will be a little bit more dark color. So we can again start with our very light gray to do the outline. I think this way it will make you feel more comfortable. And then slide yellow or brown. Probably brown would be better. But again, very slightly, just a little dab, dab, dab with your brush, and then blend. It doesn't have to be a lot of color in here. Because after we are done, we will take black paint and we'll just give slight highlights. And remember, we still have to fix our basket because that doesn't look right now very well. So the same with log number 2. And then this last little piece right there I actually just dabbed a few times and done. Now we will use the black and you will see how it will actually shape these pieces, these logs. So again, with brush number 1, you pick up your black very lightly, very lightly. See? We don't need a lot, because if it's a lot and you put your brush to the paper will just absorb that color right away and it will make a mess. So I'll just start with my basket first. And yes, I'm putting a little bit of black on the floor where the basket is standing because we need that shadow there. So it's okay to do it together at the same time as you're working on your basket and on your logs. Just as long as you have a big brush with some water in it, you're good. Let it run a little. And again, we'll come back and sharpen that as well later. So let's go into our log number 1. And also make it run a little because we need that, illusion as if there is a shadow under the log. And let's work back into our basket. There's our basket. And we'll go back into the logs now on top. This is basically just about outlining now. If you feel that you put too much color, again, don't forget we have that white paint that you can use to correct. There we go. And I will use a little bit of white. I'll show you. Oh, it's dropping white all over. Just a little bit, little strokes of white. I feel like I need more practice on these logs. There we go. Okay. So let's do the wall now. And we're almost done. We will also correct a little bit the Christmas tree. We'll just put little touches everywhere afterwards. So we'll use a big brush. Okay. So you will have to grab your big brush, wet it, and also prepare your medium brush because we will use both at the same time so the paint doesn't have enough time to dry. So we'll correct everything. So we will start just with water, applying everywhere around. And keep the brush handy in case if you feel like your paper dried too fast, you can always just reapply. And then dip it. Dip in a little bit of your orange that you've created, but very lightly, and just dip and see how it runs. We're now going to be creating that kind of messy wall look. See, just dip, dip, dip. Clean your brush. Go quickly to your brown. Either your lighter brown, or I like to use the darker brown for this. And again, just take off some of it and then go onto tap, tap. And you can even, give it direction. There we go. And it's up to you how you want to end it on outside there. There we go. Now we will use this brush and go around our candles with that darker brown or whatever color that you used that is darker. And dry this brush, clean it, dry it, and it will pull some color to blend in. And just go everywhere like this. And I know if you're looking closely, it still might look like a mess. Just don't worry. In between right there. And we will use black as well to highlight all this. Just like that. See? Now while it's having a little bit of time to dry, let's do our wall. And here you have to be a little bit braver because now we're creating that dark space right there. See right here? So we have to be brave here. So you put your brown, you can smoothen those edges there. But then we'll use the black. Oops. I really took a lot of black here. Okay, so let's see what's gonna happen. Just gently apply this black. And with your brush, dab, dab, and pull, just like that. And then you can also add a little bit more of this brown in here. Make it come off the page if you like. This all will go, right? And a little bit more now that it's drying. Creating this kind of messy look. There we go. Now the other side, same thing with black. There we go. And you can go over again. If you think you went too much, just clean your brush and right away go into it, and it will smooth out this, maybe the mess that you think you created. But it's a watercolor, so just have fun. And then I will do this. And don't worry that we went over our pieces here. We will bring them back now. Now we'll also have to take care of the floor, and that also includes some of the black color. As you can see, you can use your darker gray if you are afraid, just like that. Just in the corner where we think the light from the fireplace doesn't touch. And it's good to have sometimes just black line, you know? And we'll do the same on the other side. How's it going with you? Any questions? Am I going too fast? Let me know. Okay, now with our small brush, number 1, we will go and work around the candles and the Christmas tree. I think the Christmas tree needs a little bit more of dark color. Just a little bit to stand out more. Okay, so let's go around our candles. So our black, just very lightly. We don't need a lot. See, just a little bit. We're almost done. I'm adding a little bit more black color there. And I also want to add a little bit more darker color in here. Just a little. It needs to dry a little more. So until it's drying, I will apply glitter. And whichever glitter you have, I have a loose glitter like that, and I have glue for it. It's a transparent glue, so it's very good. Even if you mess up a little bit and put extra glue somewhere else, it won't be visible. So we'll put glue. And with your loose glitter, very carefully, I have a dry brush, and you apply just a little bit. Tap, tap, tap. I see nobody has questions. You guys are very quiet. Are you guys drinking tea or coffee or wine? I have my tea, about which I actually forgot. So now we're gonna wait till it dries, and I'll have a sip of my tea. Now that it is drying, I've noticed that I do want a little bit darker here on top of the candle. So I'll grab my small brush and quickly just grab a little bit of either orange. Yeah, orange would be better, I think, for this. Or you can even mix your orange with your dark brown. So it will be a little bit dirtier kind of orange. Just a little bit. Highlight. See? Makes the candle right away stand out. Just like that. Now let's highlight our basket with very black. Just the outline right there. And the last part is our stand. So again, you will need a very black, just black, and you can take a lot of it. Just make sure it's dry before you touch the paper with your brush. Gently. I always worry if I will get that line straight or if it will look shaky. But I've learned that that's okay. Even if it's a little bit shaky, it's okay. Trust me, nobody will be paying attention to how shaky it is. Just have fun, just enjoy. There it is. And you can even add a little bit of gray, the light gray. Well, it's dried already. Magic of watercolor, add some water and it's good to go. So you can even take a little bit of that light gray if you like, and just put a little bit on your shovel there, and a little bit on the handle, just a little. It will dry, it will not look as bright, but it will still be there, giving a little bit more of color to it. Now we need to get rid of all that extra glitter. So just bring some kind of paper if you have, or a paper towel, and shake it off on the edge where you know it's not wet. I have a jar, I don't have it right now at the table, but I have a jar where I can dump all this extra glitter from the paper into a jar, and I collect all that glitter, and then I can reuse it again later. So we're pretty much done, I think. If you have a few corrections to make them now. I can see that I just want to put a little bit more darker right here. And we're done. So again, with the brush, just grab a little bit of gray color or black, and you can just spread it out. So we'll do like this, and then smooth it out. That's it. Whenever I feel like I'm done, I always feel like, okay, well, there's more stuff I can do. So it's up to you here if you want to add maybe something more, or you're good. But basically, we're almost done. We need to finish the candles. Then brush, black, straight line, 1, 2, 3. Done. We are done. Now we're gonna just wait a little bit for the paper to dry before we pull the tape off and see our final result. So just give it maybe a minute. Make sure it's all dry. If you feel that somewhere it's still not dark enough around your, candles or anything like that, just add that black. It's okay. See? It makes it stand out more. Maybe under your Christmas tree a little more. And that's it. It's very simple. It's just for fun. And you also, I hope, learned some techniques. So I think we're good and dry here. So I will explain to you how to pull your tape if you're ready to go. Okay, so we'll start with an edge, and you want to pull the tape away from used. It was stretched with gummed tape, so it has a little bit of rougher edges after taking the tape off. If you don't like how your edges look, or you feel like you scrub a little bit, you can either trim your card down, or you can just leave it as it is. And we will actually use something right now. I'll show you. I'll make it into a card, and I'll use a hole puncher, and you will need a ribbon. So pick your color. I'll go with the pink this time. If you're going to write a message, I think it's a great idea if you use a different piece of paper. But if you don't want to use a different piece of paper, you can just do the hole punch and put a ribbon in. So let's do that now. Okay, there we go. Make sure you're punching right. There we go. Ribbon in. That's it. There you go. And you have your card. Yay! Any questions, guys? Did everyone do well? Or whoever was watching? Was it fun? Message me, let me know. I hope you had fun. I know I had a lot of fun. Thank you so much for joining in. And have a wonderful night. Bye, guys.